All right, hey there, Sam, with you here on Tuesday, May 8th. We're kind of midday and we're finishing up the video analysis. As I will remind you, we choose what we give this video analysis to via polling the members. We do it every day. Let the members choose what gets reviewed here. A final coin for the day here. This is Litecoin to the dollar. I've got it on Bitfinex. This is an 8-hour chart. And one thing I like to do is it's always a good idea. If you haven't looked at something recently, is just strip the chart bare and start as though you were looking at it for the very first time. What do you see? What does it look like's happening here? Are we trending? Are we not trending? Are we establishing a new trend? Where are we in the overall context? Well, if I look at an 8-hour chart here, it's no surprise that Litecoin is going to look very similar to Bitcoin. We have this same conundrum down here, this double bottom area down here. But as I look at this, so one thing I noticed right off the bat is that this area seems to be important. Excuse me. So I can look at this pivot here and resistance, support, resistance, resistance. Kind of interesting here. So when I see something like that, clearly that's something the market is paying attention to. That's a level that it's paying attention to. So I want to wick that off. It may very well come back into play. So, we've looked at this before. So from swing low to swing high, again, much like Bitcoin here. So here's our 50. Here was the what looked like was the reaction. Then we had this little spike up before we came back down. So again, like Bitcoin, we have technically not violated this low. So this entire move here remains internal to this move here. So swing high, swing low. So you could make a case that we're stuck in a range. Now it looks like we're trying to break out of that range from this 50 to our lower range here. It's kind of interesting here. We also get that little pivot down here. So from this, we've got a range established. What are we, 240 to call it 110? Stuck in a range. Possibly the ingredients now coming off of this double bottom, much like Bitcoin. We've got the start of a new trend. Well, we've got plenty of resistance we're going to need to get through to get back to challenge those old highs. So looking at this, we can kind of look at this, and it's pretty easy to spot right off the bat. Well, so what's kind of interesting here is you see it here. So this potentially is just shy of creating a double bottom here, but then we have the same phenomenon here, where, and we'll see this when I blow this up, we get, in effect, this is damn near a quadruple bottom as we come back to this prior area of support here. So just before we get into the wave count, a couple of things to note. Look at this little shelf of resistance here offers the support. And also look at this perfect low volume node. There's a great example of a low volume node where the market comes down here and its price is rejected right away. Market does not accept that price, so thus we get the very low volume node here. The market moves all the way back, and then once again, upon returning to that low volume area, price is rejected, and then we move back to where there's more acceptance. So, of course, looking here, we would have to draw from swing low to swing high. What have we done to the 50? So that should be no surprise, right? Algos kick in. They're selling the 50. They've got a target down here to get to this level here. So that's their target. They don't care about an Elliott count. They're just buying and selling 50s, right? So here's the swing. Here's the swing up, right to the 50. Here's the target. Do they get it there? Well, let's see if we can. We don't. Sure, they could. We don't know. All we can do is look at what the odds of that are, and can we establish a position here that would allow for us to participate if indeed the correction is over and we're starting now a new trend. The idea would be a new trend getting established to go up and challenge those old highs. Well, let's go down. Let's go down to get to a 3-hour. And you'll see here's this phenomenon again, where we have double bottom, just shy of a double bottom here. Right? It's just shy. So could that be? Let's pop this up a little bit, get a better look at it. So the 4 and the 5, pretty obvious, right? So so is this much like Bitcoin? Is it a 1 with a very deep 2? Well, if you're going to count it that way in Bitcoin, you wouldn't want to count it differently here. So 1, 2, there's the big 3. I would play that as our 4. There's the 5. So You know, here's the 1 not getting threatened. So we're going to measure if that is correct. And we've got the 2 in, and that's the 3. What are we anticipating? Right to the Vegas wave. Boom, we get target, right? And we go right up to that 50. So you have this nice confluence zone here. So what this sets up is the possibility that we have a completed impulse move. So the idea is that from this low here, from the absolute low, we've got a 1 going in. We're putting in a 2, 3, 4, and 5 going to be all up here. So let's get up to a count that would be appropriate. All right, so possibility now that we've got a 1 wave that's completed, given this reaction, that seems likely. So that would be the 1 done. So 5 wave is in. Where are we looking for the 2? Well, we know the kill zone's between the 50 and the 618. So we're looking for that buy somewhere down here. We know the upside here, the upside target, first zone to be paying attention to here is the negative 100, which will be very close to the 1618, most common target for a wave 3 if we get a wave 3. We don't know that we will. And I can do a couple of easy things. I can just put a chart on, or put a channel on this. We can note here that we're coming down to challenge that lower geometry, that market geometry right here at the Vegas wave. If we break through that, then it would look more like we're coming in to establish our second wave, although we have to dig into this a little bit more, see if we have the appropriate 3-wave structure. Remember, we're looking for some sort of an A, B, and a C to take us down, to get us there. So putting the wave on that, that's what we're looking for. So it wouldn't be surprising to get the A wave going in here. Again, it's very much like Bitcoin. B, can we get the C? I can get this hot. Can we get the C to come in here right where we want to see it, between that 50 and the 618. So let's go down, take it down to the hourly, see what that A wave looks like. So yeah, okay, let's pull that off, since we'll wait. Remains to be seen whether that gets broken. So we're hitting the 38 right now. So again, I'm going to move this off. That's the shape we're looking for. So it would appear, if I've got my pivot in here, I'm going to have to go down to the 30 to get a better look at that. Because I've got this little kick here for my 5th, I get pretty much of a straight rip down, which is not ideal. So, but there's a little pause up here. So it's not great. 1, 2, 3, 4. So actually what I'm starting to see now is that I've got the ingredients here. Yeah, it looks like ABC. So we've got this. So all of this kind of setting us up there. So let's evaluate this move here. 38, right? It's much like a 2. It's uncommonly shallow. Ideal zone for a B wave is up here, and now we don't know that that's the B just yet. We can't, on a 30-minute chart, we can't be definitive about that. This just doesn't have good impulsive movement, but we could be getting an ABC into that. So potentially some sort of so we'd have to label it like this. So we'd have an A and a B and looks like it's a C down here. Let me get the waves off of that so it's not so convoluted. A little easier to see. So let's get that off. Okay, so possibly, this would be, we'd have to take this up to a larger degree. So let's go to blue and we'll go up to micro. So possibly, again, it's the same problem as a 2-wave. It would be a shallow, very shallow B wave. And again, not that it doesn't happen, but shallow here, setting us up to push down for this. We're trying to get down here. I'll leave it over here for this 50% retracement. Right, as we drew it, here's our target. Now here's our algo target. From if swing high, swing low, 38 is potentially, we've got a front run on the 38 before we kick down here. So here's a reasonable zone, so I can reshape it here. So let's take this one off. So I've got point of control relative to what I can see here. So I have market acceptance at this price point here. We're coming back into the zone here of my prior 4th, my 3 to my 4. Coming back into that zone, I got the 50 right here. So I know I'm likely to have algos participating there at the 50, and with a front run would put them the algos that are sellers here taking profit here, those would be buy orders, potentially adding to any front run activity there as a potential 2 for this to be completing this correction. So it's not the ideal formation, right? So if we think about ideally what we're looking for, well, if that's the A, I've got this very shallow B. You know, does that set up? It's not perfect. Now, this may not until we get new lows here. So I'm going to take that. Let's move it off to the side. Until we get new lows here, the possibility that we're just doing an A, B, C here. We have to see what happens up here. This is uncharacteristically shallow, and I don't have good 5-wave structure here. Though I do have a good A, B, C. Yeah, it looks possibly. Oh, it already did it. So, well, we could have a truncated. We could have an A, B. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. There's just, is that certainly not enough A, B, C, and not enough time passing to call that my 2. So I would not trade that as a 2 being in. But I've got a 3-wave structure. I've got some sort of retracement here that's technical. Now, do we potentially get an ABC in here to this 50 to set us up for one more push down? Trading view. One more push down to this? Possibly. Is the C in? Possible. It seems unlikely to me that this is done here just yet, right? Not enough time. That's just too. I'm on a 30-minute chart. It's just not enough time. But possibly here, right? If this is going to get more complex, I get some sort of an ABC that completes. That would be the finish. So it would look more like this. So this may complete down here. So this whole thing would move over. So we'd have that setting up for this to come back down into that 50 to that 618 zone. So we'll have to see. Can't really call it just yet. All I know is that I've got technical trading happening over here. Looks here, I'm going from the 38 to the 38. So I'm just stuck. It's technical. Yet we have no definitive movement here where we can draw any meaningful conclusions. It's all just possibilities. All right, so we'll have to wait and see on that one, but it's definitely one to be on your radars because just like Bitcoin, we have the ingredients here for a very significant buy setting up. I would not go heavy here. If we come down here, given this length of time, I would not be all in here thinking that the 2 is done. I'd want to see more maturity of that correction, if you will. I'd like to see more time pass, more pivots that I can tag and look for relationships so that that correction is complete. Right? So just in a market symmetry. So if I go back to an hourly, just in the context of market symmetry, this looks much more likely to me and worth waiting for. So if we pivot here and I don't get a rollover here to give me my third of my ABC or my C wave to put me in down here, well, so be it. If I get something like this, that's fine with me. Right, there's going to be a 50 here that's tradable. We got to see from the B to the C. Does it come down, do it in 5? Double bottom's a contender. Traditional. Just don't know. So you have to wait and see and let the market reveal itself. It will reveal itself. So all you can do is look for those probabilities, pattern, price, time, geometry. Anything else here I can use. This is not ideal. Well, let's try it for a pitchfork, because the retracements are so shallow. But nonetheless, look at this from here to here. Well, we get the median line tap, upper channel down to the lower channel. This B wave, that wouldn't be surprising at all if that were a tap, a return to the median line. We'll have to wait and see. So all of the ingredients are there. Everything is set up to be very much waiting for and watching for the next big move. But too soon to do it just yet. Too soon, in my view, for what that's worth. So one to be watching. I'd alarm that as we come down to this level. If we're approaching that algo target, I'd set an alert there. I want to see what kind of price action we get there, what kind of reaction I get from hitting that target. Are we carrying through? Am I getting my retracement? And does that set me up for my C? If I could buy it down here, all the better. All right, guys, I'll wrap it there.